What's going on, everybody? Today is Tuesday, October 22nd, episode 8 of Picks and Parlays. We got the full house today. Corey and I have been keeping the lights on, but it's time. I'm just going to take a back seat. What do you guys want to fucking talk about?
Mags, anything specific that you got going on?
The greatest American sports franchise in the history of America made it to the World Series after 15 years. The New York Yankees. Corey, Eric, did the Pirates make the World Series? Are they on the NL side?
Yeah, we do
No?
play in the NL. No, didn't make it.
No, they didn't make it. Lewis, did the Phillies make it?
Fuck, I thought for some reason I was going to dodge that. But
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. So looks like we have one pennant winner here in the podcast. So I am more than happy to lead the way and looking forward to bringing home 28 next Tuesday.
You count all the ones before black people were allowed to play?
Absolutely. I count everyone. If the Lakers
Fair
can
enough.
count theirs and the Celtics can count theirs, then the Yankees count theirs. Next question.
I think we should make you. Do you have affirmative action in your who has their pinstripes?
Yes, just throw some names at me. I'll tell you if they have their pinstripes or not.
So I think Giancarlo has them, right?
Yes, Giancarlo
Curtis
Stanton has his
Granderson.
Curtis Granderson, no pinstripes for Curtis.
Does the Judge has his regular season ones, right?
There's no division. It's just one
so
set of
even
pinstripes.
like he is an MVP, which is pretty cool. But the playoffs,
does.
like what
He's gonna
Mendoza
have two.
line?
Joel
He's gonna have
Embiid is
two.
the MLB.
Aaron Judge has pinstripes for sure.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
CC
It's weird
Sabathia.
because people
CC,
usually
yeah,
say like
pinstripes.
you've earned your pinstripes when you have your big playoff moment. So that's just weird.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he had one in the ALCS against the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, is that when he made them pay for walking Soto with the bases loaded?
He brought an RBI for that. I don't see a problem there.
Smoke
see a
that
problem.
baseball.
I don't feel a problem. Anyways,
I'm not a hater though, so I think now that you've made it, there's almost no chance that you could not win. So, especially with all the money wrapped up into the organization. So,
I mean, we are the plucky underdogs facing the big bad Dodgers.
Give me a fucking break.
This series. So
should we
I think
should
that
we
needs to
congratulate
be.
them?
Yeah, congrats on
that.
Max.
Congrats.
World Series champion.
Yes, thank you.
28.
Thank you.
World
Thank
Series
you.
win.
Yep.
I'm holding my mic, so I can't really clap. But 28. Congrats.
Congrats on 28.
Are you scared that? So Juan Soto came up with the Nats. They won a world. They could never get over the hump before him. They won some divisions, but he comes up. They win the World Series. Goes to the sorry ass Padres.
Yep.
They go to the NLCS.
As they
now
do.
he's on the Yankees. Haven't been able to get over the hump, but now they go to the World Series. Are you scared that Juan Soto is just going to say, "Oh, it's not these teams. It's just me. I'm Juan Soto. I can go make $600 million and play for whoever the fuck, and we'd go to the World Series because it's just Juan Soto."
He can say that, but there's only 3 teams that can pay him that much money. So
what's the worst team he could go for? Would it be worse for you? So
Mets,
the Mets
by
are worse
far.
than the Red Sox, you think?
Yes,
The Yankees
100%.
can't. The Yankees can't pay them from what Steinbrenner was saying this year.
He
sounds
can.
like.
I pre-ordered 20 chicken buckets for next
'Cause
season.
I remember it was mid-season. He was talking about something about how they're paying these guys too much or something like that. They can't afford to take on another big one.
I would pledge if we won the when we win the World Series, I would pledge $1,000 to the Juan Soto re-signing foundation.
Okay, so you only need about. I mean, I'll round up for you. You only need about 599 million more.
I mean,
Even if you give $1 million instead of 1,000,
we can figure that out.
Yeah,
we have accountants.
yeah.
We have
He'll
accountants
definitely be back. He'll be back for 29 next year. He'll be back.
Well, so I think I think the ideal outcome of re-signing him is so he's turning 26 on Friday. By the time he hits 30, we'll kind of be entering that I mean, he's kind of in his prime already now, but it'll be like his second wind of his prime. And when we can supplement that with like a Paul Skeens like pitching injection into the rotation, because Garrett Cole, former Pittsburgh Pirate Garrett Cole, he will be probably on his way out at that point. So injecting that Paul Skeens, youth in there, because Paul Skeens will be 25. They're not going to be able to pay him. So
25?
him being a Yankee, how old is he now?
22.
Yeah, he'll probably be like 27. How long?
He hit free agency 27? At 20, 28, 29, something
either
like
way,
that.
He'll be a Yankee, so I think it's a long, prosperous time, and I'm just excited to see the evil empire back.
Is this gonna be? He'll be a Yankee like when Harper and Machado were gonna be Yankees. Is it like that kind of thing?
Bryce Harper wanted to be a Yankee. We didn't want him. Because he can't win in the postseason. Manny Machado, he's just too much of a
Yankees
hot
have
head.
won a World Series since Bryce Harper has been on the Phillies.
Exactly. And then Manny Machado, we had Gio Urshela. We didn't need him. So that is my official statement on that. And
but you did need Josh Donaldson because you Gio Urshela is no Josh Donaldson.
The past is the past. If I could give Joey Gallo a ring, I would. Okay? Okay? That's all I got to say.
Addition by subtraction, he might have earned one this year.
Exactly.
That's if they win, though. Mags, do you have a prediction?
I think the Yankees win in 6 games.
You know what? I'm going to do it. Yanks in 4.
I like that. I think the pitching matchups heavily favor the Yankees. I think we just got to keep that lineup in check, which is easier said than done. But Yankees are 7-0 this postseason against righties, right-handed starting pitchers. Did the Dodgers even have a left-handed starting pitcher?
No, I don't believe they do. I was thinking. Does it worry you at all, Garrett Cole pitching against a good lineup in Yankee Stadium?
He's already done it twice.
No, a good lineup.
Listen, Garrett Cole, we're paying him a lot of money to be good, all right? And if he doesn't, then it is what it is. We'll be back next year.
So that's after a Garrett Cole 3 1/3, 4 earned is just we're gonna get it is what it is.
It is what it is. We have Carlos Rodon and Nestor Cortez.
Oh, Carlos Rodon.
Yeah. I am not worried.
So if Mags has Yankees in 6, I have Yankees in 4. Eric and Cord, do you guys have predictions?
I'd take Yankees in 3 if I could, but I'll go Yankees in 4.
I would too. I like
Yankees in 4.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, I guess we're all on the Yankees. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah. I agree. I think actually if they don't win it in 4, that's essentially a loss. Like if they won it in 6, it almost feels like that's a loss.
I mean, yeah, they're battle tested, having to go through the Royals and the Guardians, 2 teams that really played good baseball this year, and their win totals weren't inflated at all by the worst team in MLB history, playing them 14 times each. So, I mean, the Dodgers, they've just,
Can I actually just one more thing on baseball before we get on to the next segment? Who the fuck do the Cleveland Guardians think they were having their relievers called the Four Horsemen? Who the fuck do they think they are? What was their ERA after that fucking entire the Four Horsemen must have had like a 4.4 ERA. Like
the 4.4 Horsemen.
Yeah.
Class A just forgot how to pitch the entire postseason. Whoever they played they played the Tigers in the DS. He gave up a fucking bomb then too. He was terrible.
Yeah.
What was it?
Hobbled ass Kerry Carpenter had his number.
He gave up 5 earned all year and gave up 6 earned in the playoffs.
They were making Moneyball edits for a walk-off home run to put them to down 2-1 in the series. Like that. I am the biggest Cleveland hater there is in just about any sport, and this series reaffirmed it. So,
yeah, I am happy that now Browns fans have nothing anymore.
Yeah,
like they have nothing.
I was
almost get
almost
sweet release,
disappointed. Though. I was disappointed that Deshaun tore his ACL.
Me too.
I want them to suffer more. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it to end. This isn't enough.
They can finally stop cock riding Myles Garrett now, though, because he's
Oh my
against them.
god.
Yeah, for real.
I know
Myles-
every single show has done like everything that they can to talk about the. He's been a model citizen for all of college and most of the pros. That is, everyone's talking about it, and I feel like it's not getting talked about enough. That's the craziest thing.
The most of the pros is doing a lot of work in that
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
It's like this rapist is not that bad when he's raping. He's actually the rest of the time he's been solid.
Yeah. He just had that one rape thing with like 27 women. Other than that,
Yeah.
Model
You're gonna think
citizen.
poorly of him for this one mistake.
This one mistake that he made 27 times.
Sometimes when I piss at a public bathroom on the seat, I don't wipe it off. Am I all of a sudden a bad guy? Am I a bad guy?
Exactly.
Yeah, see,
the
Eric's
same
for
thing.
most of the time that I've known you, you've been a good guy. So am I going to crucify you for that? No.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you did it 27 times, well, maybe you did it all those 27 times before you knew it was against the law.
That's true. Yeah.
how is he supposed to know? They're giving you a massage. What, he's not supposed to get hard? Fucking
Exactly.
guys can't even be fucking.
I think,
Guys can't be dudes anymore.
I think Deshaun Watson is such a model citizen. I hope he makes a full recovery and can play out the rest of his contract with the Cleveland Browns.
I
think
second that.
would be the best possible outcome for that entire franchise.
We don't root for injuries on this podcast.
No, never would. Was that the opening of the graveyard?
Sure.
Could be.
Yeah,
Put
open up
Deshaun
the
down.
crypt.
Well, I have a couple. If people wanna sit through, I'll end on the one that I want to talk about the most. So, one Bama question mark.
They're cooked.
They're teetering.
Well, They're done.
The rest of their season is, it's like if you look at it with like Bama of old, you're like, they still are gonna wagon through. So they got Mizzou, LSU, Mercer. SEC is the only fucking conference in the universe
I love-
that plays
that's-
Mercer this late in the season.
Can anyone tell me where Mercer College is?
South
it Georgia?
Carolina or Georgia?
Let me see. I'm pulling it up.
It's
then
one of
it's
those
Oklahoma
two.
and
It is in Macon, Georgia.
Yeah.
It's one of my
So
favorite college football traditions is the SEC playing one less conference game and they just get the like burgers would call them burgers kind of matchups.
Yeah, dude.
Like it's
What
just
the fuck?
who the fuck. Mercer is a 14 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's not a Division I college football team.
I think
Yeah.
they beat someone as a 15 seed once. That's I think
Yeah,
why I
Duke,
knew
I
they were in the
think.
South because I looked it up. Yeah, Duke. Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, they have them. They could lose to LSU. Mizzou's kind of a dumpster fire. Auburn kind of sucks. Oklahoma's awful. But if they lose another one, they're already kind of out. I have maybe Todd Bowles just because I think the Bucks are decent. I think Mike Evans is going to come back probably, but to lose Chris Godwin, that was so fucking stupid. And my comparison in my mind is the Cowboys of like 2022 or something. What was the year that Dak was getting like MVP votes because he was throwing all over the place, like 400-yard games and stuff, but it was all in garbage time when they were down like 3 possessions or something.
Just
Yeah.
name a
Every
year
fucking
from
year.
2017 through 2022.
That's true. Well, then I like Baker a lot, but these last 2 weeks for sure. I mean, at least they're 1-1 in them, but like he threw a bunch of touchdowns late in the game last night just because, and then 2 weeks ago, they scored like 50 something points.
Yeah. I was going to say the Bucks, I would consider putting them in the graveyard, but I think they're now a good candidate for Deontay Johnson from Carolina. So I think they might. I'm not ready to bury them just yet.
I did
You
see
think-
somebody online said
Not the Bucks.
I think it was like a Barstool blog that somebody was talking about Deontay Johnson like wanting to leave Carolina, and somebody said they get it because he's stuck it out in Carolina. I'm like, he just fucking got there, and he's asking to leave as soon as he got there. What is he stuck out?
Yeah.
To be fair, 7 weeks with the Panthers is brutal.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's
like-
basically a full season with
It's like the
the
before
Chiefs.
and after being the president when you just get
Yeah.
like all the. He takes his helmet off. He's going to be looking like Uncle Drew or whatever the fuck Kyrie Irving's
Well-
name was.
I'd be fine if we sent them back like a sixth. Just take them off
Just to
their hands.
get him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what we traded him for?
No,
A
we
third,
traded
I
him for
think.
Dante Jackson and
Yeah.
some kind of pick swap or something.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
like Dante Jackson, so
Yeah.
My third one, this one's quick. It's my dickhead fucking neighbor that I hate so goddamn much. I hate him so much that I don't know who I would report it to because the police feels too aggressive, but just to cause like a minor inconvenience in his life, I want somebody to know that he still hasn't changed his license plate from Texas to Florida yet, just in case that would
Ooh.
stir something up.
calling
just-
a random tip.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, he's skirting the whatever the I don't know registration fee or whatever it is. Anyway, hate him so much, a lot. Hate him a lot. He has a big fucking Matchbox car, and he walks around like he's the coolest dude ever. And he's just yelling at his family all the time.
What
Whatever.
do you think his name is?
Jeff. I saw
Jeff?
him
Could be
once.
Jeff.
Yeah.
He's like a tall, chubby, bald dude.
It sounds like a Les to me.
It was super hot one time, and there were no parking spots out in front. And I probably already told you the story before, but I pulled up to let like the people out in my car, and I was gonna go find a spot. And he pulls up like real quick next to me, rolls his window down, like tells me to do mine. He's like, I got fucking groceries in the car, and you're kind of blocking my spot. And I was like, well, if you waited 15 seconds, I would have been fucking out of here. And now you have to back up after saying it took way longer to do this. Anyway, okay. Fourth one, and then I'm done. Is preemptive graveyard is Tua because he's coming back.
Nah.
And
Might
he's
be the
refusing.
first graveyard to actually die.
That's-
I'm gonna feel really bad if he fucking does hit his head and
Oh.
fucking the lights never come back on. But
Dude, love him, good dude, great locker room presence. But he, like, did you see the press conference?
yes,
He's like getting an attitude about people asking him, and it's like he's
Is
refusing
he-
medical advice.
Can he speak? I just assumed he had like a little board or something that he had to write on, or like he just typed it out.
He's got to get
I
one of those
am
translators that gets all crunk in front of the stand. But
Throw to Tyreek.
he's like, I'm not. He's like, you take risks every day. Like
That
life
was
is,
crazy.
I'm willing. He said, I'm willing to risk. Like I love this game to the death of me. Like whatever. He like said that. And then someone's like, will you?
in his list of risks, one of them was when you get out of bed, you risk spraining your ankle. Which, if someone was going to get hurt doing that, it might be him. Or Greg Oden.
The ironic part is Devon Achane is going to be wearing the Guardian helmet next to him in the backfield.
Yeah.
Like,
And he gets fucking ankle injuries. He doesn't even fucking hit his head.
yeah, it's insane. But
I can't believe you said they're like, are you going to wear the Guardian? He's like, no, personal preference. It's like, holy shit. And
like, do you think they just think it doesn't look cool? Because it doesn't. But is that the reason why? Is that the preference? Because they don't look cool?
If it was made for one specific guy, it's him.
Yeah. I think it's because he's already kind of is like a bobblehead and just making the head comically bigger. Like he keeps having head injuries. They keep stacking Guardian caps on top of it. He would just be a human bobblehead by the end of it.
For me to be confident in him coming back, I need to see videos of him wearing that like leather helmet with the chains so that you can do like neck exercises and stuff. Because that thing needs reinforcement for sure.
It flops around like uncooked bacon. He's so flimsy.
He's like a newborn.
Yeah,
They gotta
the
draw up
neck
like
of
a
new-
QB draw first play. Just let them know like we mean business.
Maybe the first QB with a neck pad.
He should wear one of those. He's the cowboy collar. It's so big that he can't turn his head. He's just going through his progressions. It actually might improve his footwork.
That's true. It could. taking like the emotional or whatever, the friendliness look at it, like critical standpoint as a Dolphins fan, like even before he stopped running the ball, not that he ever did a lot, but he like clearly was hesitant. Like he'd throw it away. He'd have like 7 yards of space in front of him, and he'd just throw it away. It's like you are at a certain point hurting the team. Although I don't know if it could hurt us any more than having like
Snoop Huntley.
Snoop Huntley and Tim Boyle out there.
When did he
Unbelievable.
decide to go by Snoop, by the way? Like one day I like the red zone just started calling him Snoop and I like when did that become a
Yeah.
thing?
Do you think it's what's the cartoon?
Peanuts?
Yeah, is it inspired by Peanuts
Snoopy.
or Snoop Dogg?
I think, or Lil Snoop.
You know what? I'm gonna research this.
I had no idea who the fuck you were talking about for a second. You're like, we got Snoop Huntley, and I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the fuck is Snoop
Um,
Huntley?
Mount Rushmore, or until we can figure out, or until we run out of names of athletes that changed their name in the middle of their career. Meta World Peace.
I
Yeah.
got it.
Robbie Chosen Anderson, Robbie Anderson. Chosen. That's the last. That's the final boss. Is being chosen. I think.
It was inspired by Snoop Dogg. He got it in high school at
Because they look alike.
He got what in high school?
Let's see. He got the nickname Snoop in high school from a former coach in Hallandale Beach, Florida.
That would be really fun if he had like a white coach that was like, he kind of looked like that Snoop Dogg feller, Snoopy Dogg feller.
That guy who rhymes nice. Where's he from?
Either way, dude is
Yeah.
fucking ass. I, as a Tyreek Hill owner, I'm not like that, a fantasy owner. Very happy to very happy to see Tua back.
It's crazy. Ocho Cinco just wanted to wear his name in Spanish on his jersey before in pregame, and they stopped letting him, so he just changed it to that.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
Just
Yeah.
why was it Ocho Cinco in Spanish? I never understood that.
I watched an Ocho Cinco interview like a couple days ago. I actually feel like he's kind of got his shit together. Of all the people that you're like, say somebody's name and you're like, that was a crazy guy, he seems pretty normal these days.
Him and
I
A-Rod are the two athletes who I am the most surprised rehabbed their image from being an athlete to what they are now. And I
Yeah.
guess Tony Romo a little bit too. I wouldn't expect Tony Romo to be as
I don't know about that.
liked now as what he was in the league.
yeah.
People are coming
I
down on Tony though.
I think Ocho Cinco. I haven't seen any of the new stuff, so he could be different. I feel like he reminds me of like a musician that gets a platform and then eventually thinks that people want to hear their like philosophical thoughts. Kind of. He seems like that. Like we went to
Isn't
a
he like a
Russ
soccer
concert.
analyst?
Is he? We
I
plays
think
FIFA
so.
all the time.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That could be. I don't know. He could be an analyst. I don't know.
I love his McDonald's take of that. When he was a kid, all he ate was McDonald's, and he never got hurt. So it has to be from the McDonald's. Is like that's his. That's the kind of receiver he is. Is that like those? That's his logical path.
Which is kind of dude rock moment.
Yeah.
Dude's rock.
He also had a. There was that time when T.O. was getting held out of the Hall of Fame, and T.O. was going on like first take and like all that shit, and they were essentially it was just Skip Bayless being like, "Hey, Terrell Owens, you're not a Hall of Famer," which is like crazy. But Ocho Cinco would like follow him around and like argue on his behalf. He was almost like his lawyer, and he would like argue for him. And I remember like looking it up and being like, are they both trying to make a case? And I looked up Ocho Cinco's stats, and I was like, damn, he was like not as good as I thought. I think because I was comparing him to T.O. because of that whole like press tour. I was looking at his stats after that interview today. He was a fucking animal.
Yeah.
For like there was
Yep.
a like 6 or 7 year stretch that he was fucking unguardable. And he's he's one of the mic'd up greatest of all time.
Um, one of my same friends at work that was the Palomalu thing also said he didn't think Terrell Owens is like a top 5 wide receiver of all time. He's like comfortably third.
Bro's a bad
He's
take
like
machine.
comfortably third in everything, basically.
Yeah.
He was second in everything until Larry Fitz played for like 25 years.
True.
Yeah. Yep.
I have one more thing on Ocho Cinco, by the way, a fun fact.
Hmm.
Can anyone tell me where he went to college?
No.
No.
It's a former Pac. Well, it is a Division One like FBS Power Five conference school on the West Coast.
But the way you said that,
I had to watch
Arizona State.
No.
No, I
Any
have
other
no
guesses?
idea.
Oregon
would have
State?
never guessed this. What was it, Lewis?
Oregon State?
That's it. Oregon State.
That's
Bro
just
went to Oregon
subliminal because I was on his football reference like a week ago.
There you go.
That is a crazy, that era of receivers. Like he went there, T.O. went to Tennessee at Chattanooga, and Randy Moss went to Marshall. Like, what the fuck?
And AB was at Central Michigan.
Yeah, Central Michigan.
Yeah, like imagine you go to one of these small like conference schools to be like, all right, like I'm playing D1 football, but like I'm not really, and then your week one matchup is fucking T.O.
Yeah, yeah. Or like you
Crazy.
played one of your games at like a Penn State, and then the next week you're like, all right, fucking finally, we got the Penn State off the
It's like psych Randy Moss. Oh my god.
Just playing future like accountants.
I was trying to find Chad Johnson like crazy career stats, but I guess it's not something anyone's really put any time into. And as far as catches, yards, and touchdowns, he's outside of the top 40 in all of them, so it's not really super worth noting, except for he had 7 of his 11 seasons, 1,000 yards. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, he kind of fizzled by the end, for sure.
Yeah. Just bouncing around.
Yeah, remember when he was on the Patriots? That was there like after Randy Moss. They were like, we could just add anybody who used to be. Well, I mean, Randy Moss was still really good, but
Tom Brady was kind of a funny, like, not necessarily the same thing, but like, I feel like he's this weird and proper, like, kind of awkward, shy, like white dude, like normal white dude. And then he does these things like AB loved him. He was like trying to get AB there, and like I don't know. It's almost, it's like I feel like a teacher trying to be cool with their students, kind of
yeah.
thing. He's like, no, it's cool. I got him. I'll figure it out. But
Yeah, you could stay at my house. Just tweet about how hot my wife is. And how,
yeah.
You can stay at my house and tweet about how good you would fuck my wife. But we really need like 60 yards and a touchdown this weekend. So just join the Bucks.
Yeah. Did you see the clip from that Aaron Hernandez show with Gronk?
Yeah, he's like, hey man, I'm Rob. They call me Gronk.
Yeah. He's like, that Belichick is crazy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. He's like, did you meet him yet? And I was like, dude, didn't you call him on the phone on draft? He's like, nah, I don't know that guy.
I love watching clips of like football or any like sports TV show that isn't made for sports fans, like not a documentary. And like the actors like doing sports is like my favorite shit. And they're just so like the one meme that keeps going around when like a quarterback's playing like shit.
Yeah,
of the
that
guy
dude.
just like throwing the football like an absolute fucking sped.
Yeah.
They have like shows like The Wire where they know down to like the unit of whatever, how to price certain like weights of drugs and like how they would talk in their house. And then they don't hire one athlete to just show them how to throw the ball around.
Yeah, I always love shit like that because like The Sopranos, that's a popular thing you hear with that is like, people talk about like that is like mobsters or like that shit is so accurate and like how they talk to each other and stuff. I feel like every writer is like, I'm gonna be that guy that like everyone's
Yeah.
like, this is exactly how people in the projects weighing out drugs talk to each other, and it's like a white guy like he's like thinks that as he pushes his glasses up his nose.
There's a scene in The Sopranos where Tony's about to tee off, and they keep the ball in the shot, and it so clearly hits the ground like 2 inches in front of the tee, and they keep it. They just keep it.
Yeah,
He can't. It's
there is some old like for as like premium TV as 90s and 2000s like HBO is. They do some shit like that. Like there's some funny stuff at the beginning of Entourage where they're like, maybe this show won't be great. It's like your HBO, like just edit that shit out real quick. Edit 2 seconds out, and
yeah,
it's the same.
like
Like,
The Office with Daryl and Roy. He's like, dude, you traded Sean Alexander. He's like, I needed a defense.
yeah.
What are you talking about?
That was the craziest. Like, never mind. I was gonna very casually say a word that I should not say. I'm just gonna move on. I might just edit it out. No, I'll leave it in now. I'm not talking about it, but
Not that one.
yeah,
Not
it was
that.
not. It was not. It was not color. It was not color related. It was chromosome related.
I felt like I had to we had to clarify that part.
Yeah, yeah. Just so everybody knows. Should we talk about some football though? Some football in earnest.
Sure. Oh yeah.
The Eric, you kind of mentioned the Bama. So they're down to 2 losses. I was looking at the SEC standings. There are 2 undefeated teams in the SEC. None of them are Georgia, Texas, Bama, or Tennessee. They still have
A&M, right?
A&M and LSU still undefeated. Besides those 2, there's 6 teams that are 6-1. So all the ones I just mentioned, plus Missouri, and what the fuck? Did I miscount? Oh, well, Bama has 2 losses. Sorry. Yeah. All those teams plus Missouri, Bama, and Ole Miss have 2 losses. They're really getting into just these are going to start being. I don't know if their loser is out of the playoffs or winner is into the playoff because there's still like 5 weeks left.
I think 2 losses is at this point in the season. I feel like 2 losses is kind of a death sentence for just about any school. Like you have to be perfect. Like you have to run the table essentially the rest of the year if you have 2 losses to be in that conversation. I think, Alabama has the schedule to where if they do run the table and finish with 2 losses, they would have enough quality wins to probably get them in the playoff as well as being the name brand Alabama. But that team just looks so poorly coached right now that I don't see a scenario where they finish with at least one more, where they don't finish with at least one more loss.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you are, definitely, because Bama has 2 losses, Missouri has 1 loss. They play this week at Bama, and that is a loser leaves town, I think, because
Absolutely.
if Bama goes to 3 losses, I think they're fucked. If Mizzou loses 2, then all of a sudden, like, they are a 2-loss SEC team, which on paper feels strong, but their best win is a 3-point win against Vandy. I think at home against Vandy. So it's like, I think they're pretty much cooked with like the rest of, like, just no one is losing. It's working out perfect where all of the undefeated teams lose to 1-loss teams, and so just now everybody has gone from like 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 to now everyone is like 5-1, 6-1. Like no one is really separating at all.
Which is kind of a perfect scenario for us for like haters of the playoff committee. Is like it's kind of like in like a horror film if the bad guy makes the parents choose which one of their kids to kill, because like Texas, so for A&M to be atop the SEC, Texas has to play them, and it's really just for the rest of the season. Vandy's been like really like tooth and nail fighting and all this stuff, but I feel like Texas probably is a little bit graduated from the teams in the SEC that are going to get bamboozled by that, although they looked pretty bad this weekend. But they have A&M, so either Texas is going to have 2 losses or A&M is going to lose a game there. I was looking, Georgia already has a loss, but they're going to be playing Ole Miss and Tennessee before the season's over. So all the two-loss SEC schools are going to be joined by either Tennessee or Georgia. So it's kind of like it's going to be a shit show. I still don't believe in A&M. I don't know why. I guess because
Me
they've been
neither.
like blowing people out and stuff. But they got LSU and South Carolina and Texas left.
I just think the SEC schedule. So the flip side of this is the Big Ten schedule has worked out perfectly for the Big Ten in that they're big. Like you have a school like Indiana right now who is undefeated and very easily can finish the season 11-1. Their only big game, their two big games left are Michigan and Ohio State. And Michigan is a shell of themselves. Um, so like and they are if they finish 11-1 they're probably playing in the Big Ten championship game and they're probably in the playoff, right? So and then you have a school like Penn State who only big game is Ohio State. They miss having to play the Indiana and the Oregon only has to play Ohio State, right? The Big Ten has had this perfect like run of teams, all the big teams missing each other while the SEC has all of the big teams playing each other. And I'm just interested to see how the committee is going to weigh like an Indiana schedule who they haven't really played anyone, but they still finished, with double digit wins.
Even if you're in a tough conference, I think that it comes down to like a team like Indiana. If your only loss is to the only remotely close to the top 10 team that you've played all year, I think they will punish that. I think there's going to be enough. Although 11-1,
11-1 is in.
A one loss season is a very hard thing to do, regardless of if you play in a bad like if you play a poor schedule or not, but you're still playing a Power Five schedule. One loss season is very good, I would say.
They like Nebraska and they beat the shit out of Nebraska.
Yeah.
I also think it'll matter how they lose to Ohio State, if assuming they
that's
do.
true.
Like if it's 56-7, I mean I still think they get in with one loss. Because there's going to be so many two-loss teams, are you really going to leave, a one-loss Big Ten team out over a two-loss fucking Big 12 team or something like
Yeah,
that?
I think the Big Ten is going to get shafted when it comes to their two loss teams because I think that you know, well, I think the only two loss teams that get in from the Big Ten are probably Oregon and Ohio State, and Oregon is probably not going to get to that number. Ohio State, they still have to play Penn State. They still have to play Nebraska, who, I mean, after this weekend, probably throw them out, but they still have to play Indiana and they still have to play Michigan. Um, but I still think that name brand power probably gets them in. But I think like a two-loss Penn State team, if they lost to Ohio State and let's say they lose to Wisconsin or something, right? Like if they're only two big games they've played, they've lost as well. Like does the committee really want to put them in over a two-loss, Alabama or a two-loss Tennessee? So it's going to be interesting to see. But I'm not. I think the SEC is going to get the benefit of the doubt a lot this year with the playoff.
I think a two-loss Big Ten team probably, other than Ohio State, is probably out.
Yeah,
Because those SEC teams there's going to be some good ones with two, like Alabama's already got two losses, and they're getting
yeah,
in, and they should because they have the win over Georgia, like the win over Georgia. I think at the end of the year, when you look at all the two-loss teams, if Alabama still ends up with only two losses, if they win out, I think they're in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just because that win over Georgia is gonna look really good, especially after Georgia just beat around Texas a little bit.
You could have a crazy. I think the best case scenario for the Big Ten, but I still think they'd find a way to maybe screw one of these teams out, is if both Penn State and Indiana both lose to Ohio State, but that is both of their only loss. But that gets Ohio State into the Big Ten championship against Oregon. So then Indiana and Penn State both don't have to risk getting another loss.
Mm-hmm.
And then say they both lose close to Ohio State, then Ohio State beats Oregon. Then it's like, okay, well, Oregon, they have a win over the Big Ten champion, Ohio State, even if it's not in the Big Ten championship. then you have these two other teams that lose close to the Big Ten champion, Ohio State. Then it's like you have 4 teams that you could argue are all within like a touchdown spread of each other. You
I
could
think all
argue
4
that.
would have to be in that scenario. Like I
Depends
don't
how
see
bad
how
it gets in the SEC, I think.
Yeah, I think Indiana in that scenario is the question mark, but
I think so too.
I mean, we saw an undefeated team get left out of the playoff last year, so nothing is out of the realm of possibility. But I don't know. I think it would be. I think in that scenario, Indiana would have to get in, but
Yeah.
who knows?
It's still 2 weeks until the first college football playoff rankings come out, and I feel
It
like it
feels
was
like it
way
gets
earlier in the
later
past.
every single year.
Yeah.
I guess it would make sense because like the double bye and the whatever the different structure, but I guess with this like 2-loss, 1-loss stuff, Notre Dame throws a weird little wrinkle in it where we thought they were dead early, and then so I'm have their schedule up right now, which like so they have Notre Dame or they have Navy, Army, and USC are the only like because it's like Virginia and Florida State are the other two games they got.
I think Navy and Army though are
I
big.
want them to lose to Navy so bad.
I think those are like I don't know. I think Navy and Army deserve a little respect for what they're doing.
I'm giving them that.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame they're the same thing. If I mean also with their name brand power, I think if they run the table, they're in with 1 loss. I think 2 losses though, because that schedule is so light. If they lost again, there is no way to shine up the turd that would be a 10-2 season. Like the schedule
with a
has just been
Northern
too
Illinois
easy.
loss.
Spray paint it
with
gold.
a Northern Illinois loss and say they lost to USC, like,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
who do you think the fun teams that would get in would be?
Who's the group of 5 leader like to get
I was
in?
going to say whoever's the group of 5 team is going to be fun because there's a couple fun ones like
Liberty's
imagine it's
undefeated.
Navy or like I've always kind of thought that it's going to be Boise State, but
I think the most-
Boise State's almost kind of a wagon. Like I saw a projection today that Penn State. I think I couldn't see the TV; it was far away, but I think they said Penn State gets in at 5 and plays Boise State, which actually like kind of scares me if I'm not playing one of the top 4.
Run game travels.
Yeah.
I think most fun outcome from a fan's perspective for that group of 5 team is Army and Navy running the table and the Army Navy game deciding who gets in the playoff between those two. That would be my pick for most fun group of 5
I think
outcome.
I heard that they announced the playoff the week before that though.
Yeah.
Do that?
There's a scenario where the winner of that game could not make it technically.
Yeah, there's a chance the loser would get in.
Yeah, it's usually the week between conference championships and when the bowls like actually start. Like there's one weekend that's pretty much just Army Navy. But yeah, the way it would happen is if say they're the 2 undefeated non-power 4 schools and they say, okay, Navy, like I think Navy's been ranked. I don't think Army's been ranked yet. So they just say,
No,
okay,
I think they're like 24 and
23 and
25 right
24.
now. Yeah.
okay. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Regardless, just, they pick one of them and they're like, okay, like Navy, that's our group of 4 or group of whatever the fuck number representative. They're the 12. They have to name that before the Army Navy game, but they'd still play the Army Navy game. So like they could get in based on their undefeated schedule and then lose to Army the next week, but they're still in as the 12.
Do you think the committee would do something where they were just like the group of 5 team is going to be Army/Navy?
Yeah,
like
they
we're
should
going
do
to
that.
make the bracket and
The first
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, like it's like a first playoff game. And like I think everyone would be in agreement if they did that. They'd be like, well, yeah, like that makes total sense.
They have to. They would have to do that. They have to. You
There's
can't.
no way they could. Yeah.
And they make the rules. So like,
True.
Yeah, that's
it's like they make the rules.
Yeah, they could
That's
be
the
like,
thing
oh,
that
we're
they
actually going to
forget.
put the bracket out like a week later. Like,
Yeah,
who's going to tell us no?
They could just push it off a week.
Yeah, the fucking government doesn't say you have to put this out. It's you, an institution that is run by yourself, who is the institution. You can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But you can also there's legal implications against kids selling their Heisman trophies or whatever the hell they're doing, which is
That's
kind of
true.
crazy.
The other thing I did want to say, because we talked about LSU and A&M, they play this week. And I was looking at their schedules. That with how strong the SEC is, it might be an SEC championship play-in game because they both have essentially one more tough game. LSU hosts Bama, which they have a bye next week. Then they host Bama. They do have Vandy too. So A&M, I think they get smoked by Texas regardless. So I think they could get bounced that way. But LSU, it's like if they beat Bama, if they win this game and they beat Bama, like they're essentially in the SEC championship
Yeah.
play, and like two of Georgia, Texas, Bama, Tennessee, or three of them, all but one would miss out.
When you said something about Texas that just reminded me, I wanted to talk about this. The benching, I think it worked out in the end, but I thought the benching of Quinn Ewers was quite premature.
Yeah.
I think it worked out in the sense that if he didn't do it and they still lost the game the way they lost the game, it could get a little loud for Sark down there to play Arch, but I think it's the wrong move. I also think it worked out because Arch went in there, didn't really do shit, and then it was
Yeah.
back to Ewers after halftime. So I think even though I very much so disagreed with it at the time, that felt like a very quick trigger because the game wasn't over. They weren't out of it. And
To me, that wasn't an Arch benching though. That was a Ewers sit down and catch your breath for like one drive here and collect your thoughts. And we're just going to let Arch go in and do whatever. Like I think Ewers is going back. Sark can say Ewers was going back in that game no matter what. Now, I do think if Arch went in, marched down, and scored a touchdown, things would be different. But
yeah,
I think that he was benched for the sake of just like, hey, collect yourself for a minute so we can at least not make an ass out of ourselves here, rather than we're benching him because he's playing poorly.
He did say
yeah,
that. Sark said that at the half interview. He said like it's a let him take a breather type thing.
Yeah.
But it is like kind of unprecedented. Like there's not too many people who have done that. Because I don't hate the move, even though it's like a veteran quarterback, potentially first round. Well, be a first round draft pick guy. But you can make that move if your team already has 2 losses, maybe, and they've been kind of
yeah,
trending down. But being the number one team in the country and like blowing away people and like everybody has you on a pedestal way higher than everybody else, it is a weird move. But you're right. He can just explain it away now.
Yeah, I can't believe we totally buried the lead. I totally forgot that like a Heisman finalist got benched. Didn't even fucking
yeah,
talk about it.
yeah.
What a fucking show.
No, and the water bottles thing was one of my favorite things I've ever seen in a college football game in my life. The
Yeah.
overturned call, which was the correct call, the correct thing to do was overturn it, but you can't
Yep.
really do that. That was one of the best things I've ever seen because it also, like, all of a sudden it's a one-score game right after that. They go and score the touchdown. It's a one-score game, and I was like, oh, that's fucking insane
Yeah.
that they just did that.
Yeah, the other thing I think you guys are like, I'm going to Penn State, Wisconsin this weekend.
Oh.
Oh, hell
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm
Camp.
gonna have I am gonna have Wisconsin shit on though, so
Makes sense.
Fair enough.
Hey,
yeah.
Fair enough.
solidarity, undefeated in Pennsylvania. We're one of what? We're 2 of however many undefeated teams left in the
Yeah.
Power
That's
5.
yeah, Pitt plays Syracuse Thursday night this week to stay
Oh,
unbeaten. Their whole remaining schedule is pretty much just really mid teams that they definitely should beat, but they could definitely lose to any one of them, and they definitely will lose to at least one of them. But for now, we're undefeated.
Yeah.
It is what it. Clemson is fucking cramping my style that we're gonna be like relatively deep into the season as one of the only remaining undefeated teams, and I think that there's just no shot that we make it to the ACC championship game. I think it's more
That's
likely that
whack.
Miami plays themselves out of it than Clemson.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Clemson's I'd stamp their ticket right now. They're
Yeah,
just rolling through the ACC right now.
I
yeah.
hate it.
Should we do some NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the
Oh yeah.
pros.
All right. So, after a great week last week, it was the most mid week to date. I think I was really hot, and then I got smoked in all the primetime games last 2 days. But as we stand this past week, Corey and Mags are both 8-7. Me and Eric are both 7-8. Overall standings: Eric 57.9%, Corey 56.6%, Mags 51.9%, and I am 46.2%. That's getting
Climbing.
Yep.
Climbing.
It was a
Scratch and
really
claw.
strong week, and then until just 3 fucking duds in a row. But
I think
um,
I got smoked. I was decent in the 1 o'clock. I got torched. I mean, as bad 0-3. I guess there were only 3 games, but I didn't win a thing late, and then I think I got the 3 um, Sunday night and both Monday night games. Kind of brought me back.
I was bitching and motherfucking everybody because of my fantasy loss that was inside of a point, and then I saw yours clearly.
With like 40, like 80 combined points less.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't feel as bad because that was for nothing. But it was like I woke up and I got that like the notification that says like your week whatever report is ready, and I saw like the narrow escape or whatever that one was, and it wasn't me and Connor's game. I'm like, what? How the fuck was it not us? They just stopped running the ball at Dobbins. Mike Evans gets hurt. Luckily, scores a touchdown. Laporta might. He's going to my bench. I think he's definitely going to my bench this week
He
for sure.
stinks.
Timeout. He can come back when he proves to me that he knows how to play again. Not worth getting rid of though. For all the, not yet, probably,
I'll
maybe.
give you a second for him.
Yeah, fucking no. Those mean nothing. Those mean nothing.
all right, so big games for this week. We still have 6. I never kicked one off. Which game do you guys want to kick off?
I say kick off that Eagles game personally.
Yeah, fuck the
I
Eagles.
think both
Okay.
those teams aren't very good.
All right, get
Yeah.
rid of Eagles Bengals. Sorry if anybody was really looking forward to hearing about that one.
If you're a Philadelphia sports fan, don't listen to this podcast. You're unwelcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, it's hate watch people from me talking about the Phillies. All right, week 8, our top 5 games of the week. Starting off, Colts plus 5.5 at the Texans, over under 46.5. I did a little mini rant in the group chat over the weekend because I had a big parlay. All I needed was the Dolphins money line, which that's just a very stupid sentence to be saying, but I needed it, didn't get it. I've been so against the Colts this year, and I think this is a crossroads where the Texans are a team that it's maybe the first team that because I just bet against the Colts and they just play the most shit teams, and the Colts try to let these teams win, and the teams are like, no, thank you, we actually suck at football as well, so you guys can keep winning. And the Texans are the first team that I don't feel psychotic betting against the Colts. I know it's 5.5, but this is just like I can't stop. Like if I switch and the Colts get killed, I might get killed by myself because I would be unable to handle it. So I'm on the Texans.
The sleep at night game.
Yeah, it is a sleep at night game.
I am also going to be with you. I'm going to go Texans minus 5.5. I see 91% of the public money is on Texans minus 5.5. I don't think Anthony Richardson is all that good right now. And I don't want to have to put any money on him. So I think this should be a like set it and forget it kind of bet. Like this should be an easy win in my eyes. Texans minus 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans as well. I did bet on the Colts last week because I just won't. I refuse to put my money on the Tua-less Dolphins. Um, but I think Colts off a win against a shitty team, Texans off of a very close loss down to the wire. I think it's getting a little loud for the Texans too. Like they still haven't been great this year. And I think this is an opportunity for them to stomp on a division opponent, and I think they're going to do it. Like Mags, I agree. Anthony Richardson has just not been great this year. I think he was 8 for 22 passing last week against the Dolphins. That's just not going to cut it against like no a real football team right now, which the Dolphins are real now. Tua is back, but last week they weren't.
Yeah.
So I like the Texans here. -5.5. Sleep at night. I'll live with that one.
Fortunately, I'm not going to try to save the crew because I value my percentage right now. I'm also going Texans -5.5, which makes it a clean sweep. But I also don't. I'm not convinced that they're very good either. We all were thinking over for the Texans Packers game, I think, but Jordan Love is convinced. He is absolutely determined to throw at least one interception every fucking game. I think he has one every game, and at
He
least
leads the
one.
lead in touchdowns and picks.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Eric Harris,
hey, it's a strategy.
2015.
2015. Yeah. Yeah, I go Texans.
Yeah. All right. Up next, Falcons -2.5 at the Bucks, over under 45.5. I don't know what to do with this one because I feel like both of these teams kind of got smoked in spots where in like measuring stick games. Or I guess Falcons it wasn't measuring stick because they're probably better on paper than the Seahawks, but both of them it was like, all right, people think you're good, prove to them that you're good. Both teams kind of got smashed. So I don't know who has the get right spot here. Um, oh man, I kind of feel like Bucks at home getting points. I feel like that might make sense. I'm just gonna. Oh, they have all the injuries though. Fuck it, I'm gonna bet the Falcons. Kirk, take me home.
I am going to go with the over in this game, 45.5. I think this is the first game that has already happened earlier in the season. Am I right? I can't think of any other one.
They're doing all this shit where no one plays their. You either play all your
Yeah.
division opponents or you play none of them.
Yeah, this was the game earlier in the season when Kirk Cousins went like crazy on Thursday Night Football and had like 5 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like getting like points at home for the Bucks, but losing Chris Godwin makes me a little nervous. So I don't want to bet on that, offense until I know what it looks like. But I feel like points are a safe bet in this one. So I'm going to go over 45.5.
Whew, I don't like anything about this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't love taking a road favorite here. Um, so I'm not going to, I don't think. I think I'm going to take the over as well. Um, both defenses have not been great lately. Um, I know the Bucks have all the injuries. I think they find a way to still put up 2 touchdowns at least, 2 or 3. 2 touchdowns, 17 points. We'll say 17 points. Falcons get it the rest of the way there. I think the Falcons I I'd bet on the Falcons to win. Um, just because of all the injuries, but I just don't feel that great about them right now either. So maybe we'll get some points. Both defenses not all that great yet this year. I'll take the over.
Yeah, that's making me want to take the points. I have this. I don't know if it's because I'm down here now. I like the Bucks a lot, and the Falcons like just let me down. I had them last week against the Seahawks. They gave up a bunch of points, so I kind of do like 45. But that's another one where it's like you take the over, and there's all these injuries, and the Falcons scored 14 points last week, and you're just like, what was I doing? You said 2.5 at home for the Bucks.
Yeah.
They're kind of used to playing without one or the other because somebody's always got something going on. So I think I'm going to take the Bucks -2.5
You do really like
Plus
the
two and a
Bucks.
half.
or +2.5. Sorry, yeah, I like the Bucks. Um, even though last week's game wasn't as close, does that end up being a 10-point game?
Yeah, they ended up smashing the. Or well, oh, sorry, I was thinking of the Saints. Yeah, it was a 10-point game to end. Yeah,
They
41-31, I think.
they got a bunch of garbage time points and then recovered an onside kick and scored.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to maybe get the craziest backdoor cover of the year after they were down like fucking 4 touchdowns.
I was freaking out because my fantasy opponent had Lamar Jackson, and where we looked like maybe I could get a couple more yards out of Dobbins and they're going to like pull Lamar to the side. I thought maybe they were going to actually throw him back out there. Lo and behold, it didn't fucking matter either way. But
Yeah. Sowie. All right. Up next, Bills -3 at the Seahawks. Over under 47.5. This is like the opposite of last game where it feels like both the Falcons and the Bucks need to get right. This is both the Bills and the Seahawks had big convincing wins. Although the Bills were favorites and the Seahawks were dogs, so that's different. But I feel like at a certain, like the Seahawks, they need to stay within about a game of 500. They just had a big win against another team that's going to be fighting for playoff spots. Feels like more of a letdown spot for them than the Bills. I know Seattle's a tough place to play, but at a certain point, I think the Bills are a way better fucking team, and I know it's on the road, but I'm just gonna fucking bet the Bills. I'm gonna try to think less. That's been my strategy the last few weeks. Thinking less has led to good things.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm Bills. What do you have the line at? Is it 2.5 or 3?
I have -3. It's 2.5 right now. I will go with that.
I have 3 here too. I have 3. Yeah, I would go Bills -3. Like you said, I mean, bet on the better quarterback, bet on the better team in this game. Seattle is a tough place to play when the team is good. I think the Seattle team, I think they're catching teams at the wrong time. I feel like the Seattle team is a little fraudulent here, and I think this is going to be the week where that conversation begins. So I'm taking Bills -3.
Yeah. Probably no DK too. So
True.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think they caught the Falcons offense on a bad week. I don't really believe in the Seahawks defense. Um, and I think the Bills, like with Amari Cooper now getting a full week of practice in and James Cook running the ball, Josh Allen, I'm just gonna fucking go with the Bills here and bet on, like you said, bet on the better team. I don't really believe in the Seahawks all that much, so I'm gonna go with the Bills.
might be
do
the
it.
second clean sweep.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
all
all
right,
on
so
favorites too. Jesus Christ, we're
the
bad.
well, 2 weeks ago was the highest hit on favorites ever. Maybe it's going to happen again. I like it just because kind of what Lewis is talking about, the think less strategy has been working for me a ton. A lot of my picks, like outside of checking for injuries and maybe like I'll look at what they did the previous week. I don't really think too much. I just look, I'm like, okay, well, this is the good team and this is the bad team. I'm going to take them. Now I consider the points, but I feel like 3 points for a team that every year people are shocked that they don't like make it to the AFC Championship game every year and they should be a Super Bowl team. If you can get 3 points against the Geno Smith led, NFC opponent, I feel like you got to take it. So
Yeah. All right. Up next, viewing the line. I don't think we know if Jaden Daniels is going to play. Do we know at this second? Do we know if Jaden Daniels is going to play?
let's give ourselves some grace. We make our picks assuming he is playing.
I would assume
What?
he is playing. His
Okay.
mom said he was fine.
It's Bears -2.5 at the
That
Commanders.
that makes me think he's not.
Over under 43.5. I'm gonna take advantage of it and I'm gonna bet Commanders +2. This is gonna be another clean sweep, isn't it? But I think they're just a better team than the Bears. Like the Bears are one of those teams that they have a good record despite feeling like they're like a little bit average. I know they've been getting better every week and like rookie quarterback, obviously that changes all that. But the Commanders, at a certain point, I just need to accept the fact that they blow the doors off of everybody. They have had like very, very few close games. Like there's a lot of teams where if you don't have I might need to go look at their schedule like while you guys are talking about this, but I can't even really remember a close game that they've had. I feel like every win is by like 20 points.
They kind of feel like a Big 12 team, like
Yeah.
how he played in college. Like they feel like a college football team to watch because their defense is so fucking bad too.
I saw a video like after he got hurt. It was a super cut of Jaden Daniels getting hit in college, they were like, how did people think this guy wasn't going to get hurt? And he's just like hurdles into the line and gets fucking speared by a linebacker. And like,
Yeah.
I think this. So I'm not going to make it a clean sweep because while I do like the Commanders plus 2.5 because I think he's going to play, I'm going to take the over 43.5 in this one. I just feel like betting overs for the Commanders is just a thing you should be doing all year, especially if they're playing even a somewhat competent. Like this Commanders defense is just so like Swiss cheese that Commanders can put up points and teams can put up points on them. And like you said, it's just going to look like a Big 12 game every week. Even with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, I'm feeling confident that we can get to 43.5 in this one.
Oh shit, I missed that. It's only at 43.5 right now.
That's the
Yeah.
website I'm on. It says
Jesus
DraftKings has it at that. FanDuel has it at 44.
I might definitely change this, but just once I know if he's playing or not. But yeah,
Um, I like the over. Marcus Mariota. Here's what makes me nervous. I'm gonna say as of right now, this is subject to change because if Jaden Daniels is playing, whatever the number is, I'm taking the over for the same reason I've been on the Commanders overs a lot this year, and they've been paying pretty well. I as of this line makes me think that he's not playing, and I'm gonna go with the Bears -2. I think that the Bears defense is good. I think they've been playing very well, and I think this is like an obvious but really dumb fucking statement. The Commanders are good because of Jaden Daniels. They're not like their run game's decent, but they're fucking good because he's awesome. And if Marcus Mariota is playing, I'm not with that, like you said, Swiss cheese defense. I don't feel comfortable putting my money on that team. Um, the way the Bears defense has been playing. So I'm going to take the Bears -2 because this line makes me feel like he's not playing or they're not expecting him to play at this point in the week. I think Caleb Williams has been getting better every week. I think their run game's been getting a little better. DeAndre Swift has been getting I think they feel like a team that's figuring it out. Even though I don't know what the teams they beat, they were like all 1-5. Um, but I think off a bye with the rookie quarterback, like a little extra time, I'll take a -2 if he's not playing. If Jaden Daniels is playing, I'm going over.
Yeah, I like the over. Like for everything you guys are saying, they've been scoring a lot of points. The Bear. So for the Commanders' schedule so far, only one of the 7 games wouldn't have hit this over, and the Bears have scored just under 100 points in the last 3 games. So, and I think like 2 rookies, assuming he's playing, going back and forth with all the talk about like did the Commanders get a steal like on passing, like not having to go up for Caleb and getting Jaden Daniels to them. I think that like Caleb's probably going to go in thinking like wants to crush it, wants to throw the ball over the place. There'll probably be like a few turnovers as well. But I like the points. 43.5 seems way too low for this right now to me.
yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards changing to the over. Actually, I think I'm just gonna wait until he definitely is or isn't playing because I feel like if I'm trying to game the system, if I bet on the Commanders today, he's definitely not fucking playing, and they're definitely gonna fucking lose. So I'm just gonna wait. Last game, Sunday Night Football, a major loser leaves town game. I think it is the Cowboys +4.5 at the Niners. Um, my opinion with the Niners is I think they do this a lot where they start slow and the roster is just too good for them to keep losing. I know I hate like that's a big thing Rob Thompson talks about with the Phillies that it's like they're too talented to not get better, and I hate when he fucking says that. But I do believe it with the Niners, and like they're off a game against the Chiefs. Yeah, they probably lost worse than you would like to see that, but I think 4.5 at home against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are a lot worse than people think that they are. I think Dak is very mid. He's not getting the ball to CD, which is kind of the only way that their offense really works. So, yeah, I think the Niners might they've been flip flopping back and forth all year. It's going to be now people being back on the train of, man, the Niners might really suck, and they're going to beat the fuck out of the Cowboys. And I'm going to take the Niners.
I am going the complete opposite. I'm going
Fuck.
Dallas plus 4.5 here. I think that Dallas, so they are coming off that, 47-9 beatdown against Detroit bye week. I think McCarthy is coaching for his job here.
Bye, forgot.
I think that Dallas needs to come out hot in this game and needs to prove themselves. And I think that San Francisco can still lose this game and are very much in the thick of it for the playoffs. And I think they can still win that division. I think Dallas, this is kind of their, last stand a little bit. And I think that 4.5 points is enough to at least keep it close, if not win this outright. So I'm going to go with Dallas plus 4.5.
Yeah, I'm on the Cowboys as well. I think mostly just because they're off a bye. I just don't. The Niners just keep burning me. Like, every fucking week I'm on the wrong side of them. And I don't know, is Debo playing? Is he expected to play this week?
I don't know.
He has,
I can't tell.
Fluid in his lungs.
Yeah.
He has pneumonia.
I don't trust Purdy to get it done without Ayuk and Debo. And I know Mason's been great running the ball, but so is every other running back that Kyle Shanahan has ever had take a handoff. So I think the 4.5 is enough for me to take the Cowboys. I don't think they're good. I think they're catching the Niners at the right time. And 4.5 is enough for me to feel comfortable taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, I feel like I have no clue what I want to do for this. My head is saying, like, if you do a guy off, it's far and away on the Niners side. Because Debo's out for an illness. How many, like, is that going to last the whole week? He tried to suit up last week, so.
There's no timetable, it says online, for his return.
Yeah.
So.
And then Micah and Bland are out, and Micah had a high ankle sprain, so, like, they say he's still, like, game time decision, middle of the week or whatever.
Brandon Ayuk is done for the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just ankle injuries always scare me just because it feels like you come back and everybody's like, oh, they're back, and then it could be a quarter in and they fuck it up again, and it's the same kind of thing. So I was like teetering on the under, but
I was as well, if that makes you feel any better about it.
Yeah, because I try to look like there are other stuff that but the Lions win just but that could be Dan Campbell just kind of putting his nuts on the table situation. Just wanted to absolutely beat the shit out of them. So I think I'm going to go under because I hate both teams so much in terms of making a pick here. So under 46.5.
I don't hate that either. I was considering that as well, just because of all the injuries on the Niners side and the Cowboys kind of lack of run game through this. There's just so much going on here. I just don't fucking know what to think about this game at this point. I just have no idea. Gary Jones press conferences, fucking radio shows, fucking he's doing all his shit right now. The Niners, they just don't look like a good football team this year.
Yeah.
And neither do the Cowboys. Like, this primetime game feels like it should be oh shit, early in the year, Cowboys, Niners, maybe potential playoff teams, but they've both just kind of looked like shit.
Yeah. Yeah. If there is a script in the NFL, this year would be really telling of it, because it's as soon as you feel confident that a team's good, they lay an absolute egg, like a complete stinker. And I feel like that kind of shit has been happening. And it kind of happened in the reverse effect for the Ravens with me. Is I thought they opened up, they're oh, they're kind of just the typical Ravens. And now if I had to pick a Super Bowl favorite right now, it'd probably be the Ravens.
Yeah, they're terrifying right now. I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing.
No.
Luckily, the only thing that makes me feel like okay about how the Ravens are right now is they've been better than us the last like 3 years, and we just beat them all the time. Like Lamar Jackson never beat the Kenny Pickett Matt Canada combo. Never beat him.
That's crazy.
It's
That's
insane.
crazy. Well, it's like it's gonna make me feel like I have absolutely no confidence in betting any game. If like who do they play this week? Do we know?
I don't have it up right now.
But if they come out and like Lamar has a like 30% completion game with like a pick or something and can't really do anything and they lose to I don't
They're
know.
at the Browns.
Okay, well that's not
Oh,
gonna happen. But
next week.
yeah. I don't know.
Actually, I'm gonna look up it. Next week they host the Bengals on Thursday night.
9.5
They're
point
gonna fucking
favorite.
win that.
9.5 point
The
favorites
Browns.
at the Browns.
I
Jesus
feel like that might
Christ.
be the highest point total I'll take.
I'm not betting on the Browns. So
If Jameis is starting, I might have to bet on the Browns.
yeah. If Jameis is playing, that might change things for me.
That's
The
when I might
Jameis
be willing to
bump.
lose. The
Yeah.
Jameis tax.
God damn.
Yeah. Also, the other thing about Cowboys Niners, I didn't realize the Cowboys were off a bye, but I almost feel like Mike McCarthy off a bye is a negative thing for the Cowboys. The more he thinks, the worse it's got to get. It's just like fumbled papers. Like they just get more. The clutter continues, and he thinks he's cooking, and it's just every time a play goes out of his eyesight, he forgets that it exists.
There's just like a
This
circle,
week.
like a mug-shaped circle of just dried coffee on his playbook, just because he's just sitting on his desk all week.
Mike McCarthy is 12-5 off a bye.
What the fuck? I'm fucked. This is God damn it.
I mean, you should probably look up the overall coaching stats off of bye.
3-1 with the Cowboys off a bye.
He's had pretty sick Cowboys teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We already talked baseball, so I guess if you guys don't have anything else, everybody, if you're listening to the YouTube or the audio, go give the other one a try. At least toss a sub on it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, all of them. Picks and parlays. Also on Twitter, I refuse to call it X, although I just did. At Picks and Parlays. We got the graphic, the dick pics, and we're also coming for everybody in the comments every weekend. Instagram as well, at Picks and Parlays. We got clips from the show every week, as well as the graphic. And then on TikTok, we also got clips from the show. A couple of TikTok filters. I had a video kind of pop off the other day, but then a guy in the comments said it was way too long. So I'm taking it under advisement. I will make shorter top 10 lists from here on out.
Send me the TikTok because I don't have it yet.
Oh yeah, I got you.
I was considering making one about just how fucking miserable the Pirates have made me in my whole life, because I think they might be the worst franchise in professional sports in my lifetime. I just haven't gotten to it.
There's got to be like
a hockey team or something.
Not counting hockey. Yeah, that's
the worst of the baseball, basketball, football.
Who's the worst basketball franchise?
The Hornets,
Brooklyn Nets,
the Nets.
I was gonna say
it's my team.
Are the Nets the worst team, the worst franchise, Mags?
All time or like right now?
Last 15 years.
15 years, I'd say probably the Charlotte Hornets then.
Yeah. Mags, you want to know a fun stat about the Pirates? Derek Shelton and Ben Cherington going into year 6. Their 5-year stretch has been the worst 5-year stretch in Pirates history. I think maybe since like the 40s or something.
It's tough.
Year 6, baby. Year fucking 6.
And the 40s
don't fix it.
That war.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant and like Kyrie Irving signing with the Nets was the equivalent of like Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout signing with the Pirates for like 2 years and then deciding to leave.
Yeah.
And it sucked because we didn't even win anything and everyone hated on us. And it's like, damn, we suck. We suck. And then we got good players and we sucked with the good players. And now everyone just hates us.
Did you just say Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout like playing on the same team?
With the Pirates.
That would be OP. I don't know if the league would allow it.
I don't even know. Even if it went poorly, like, I just got nothing right now. I got Paul Skeens, which is
oh no, the time with the Nets with Kevin Durant was amazing.
Yeah.
If that's my only like basketball happiness for the rest of my life, I'm fine with that. That was amazing. Yeah.
Well, I got
His foot wasn't on the
4
line.
to 5 more years of Paul Skeens. I'm going to try to enjoy that as best I can.
Yeah. I'm going to give him preemptive pinstripes for the record. Paul Skeens has pinstripes.
What if you just went and fucking ran in traffic or something?
What if the Pirates like got pinstripes and this was like an omen, and then he like turns the entire franchise around?
How much would you? I think we talked about this after like his first start. What would you offer him tomorrow that you think he would take?
Like that he would take
is
15 years, $500 million.
Yeah, I think the number would have to start at like 500 to get him to sign.
Yeah, that's a big number. Because I think if you're
beating all his RBers too, so that's even actually a low valuation for him.
It would probably have to be like 15 for like 700. If you're doing 15 years, it would probably have to be.
It'd have to be a lot. I was gonna say a 10-year deal right now would start with a 3 and maybe a 5 after it.
Yeah, I honestly think whatever Shohei gets is pretty close to what you'd offer Skeens, considering Soto, or what I say Shohei, I meant Soto. Whatever he gets, because he's kind of entering his prime, or like in his prime, whatever you want to say, and hitting free agency.
Yeah.
But then this is a guy who's this good, not even in his prime yet, and you're skipping over 5 years where you'd pay him fucking nickels and pence.
Yeah, he's the best pitcher in baseball at 22.
Yeah.
Well, third best behind Garrett Cole.
Did Garrett Cole have a sub-2 this year?
I was waiting to hear who the second name behind Garrett Cole was going to be. They're going to say like Luke Weaver or some shit.
Dude, Luke Weaver is the greatest LGBTQ MLB player in history.
Wait, what?
That's not confirmed, but I'm assuming.
God damn it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we can end on that.
Yeah. That's a good ender. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.